Hi everyone, it's Sue here, and I wanted to take a minute today to talk about something that I'm working on at the moment with my colleague Chris Lane. Today was the last day of our 3-day challenge that we actually did on our private Facebook page called Self-Care for Women, Transformation Through Yoga, Ayurveda, and Aromatherapy. And I realized that many of you might not be on Facebook for your own personal reasons, and that's fine. But I thought I would share with you some of the insights, if you will, that we've covered over the last 3 days that might help you. So mental harmony is sort of the name of our challenge. And what does that mean? Well, many of us now live in the world with mental disharmony. We're anxious, we're worried, we don't sleep, we're distracted. And I like to refer to this idea of, are you reacting to the world or are you responding to it? And many people right now are reacting to the world. Their perception is really skewed, if you will, from all of the distraction that's going on and sensory overload. And we talked about this over the last 3 days of what do you do? You know, how do you get out of your own way? And so we offered 3 tools that we feel are vital, not only from a yogic and an Ayurvedic perspective, but just from a humanic perspective. They're free. You can do them every day, and they will make an impact. We call them the profound practices. That's what we've sort of nicknamed these 3 things. So what are they? Well, the very first one is journaling. And I know everybody's like, oh God, I've heard enough about journaling. I don't want to journal. I don't like to journal, blah, 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 whatever the story is, right? But journaling, we know, especially if you don't try to like create a story, you're just allowing the thoughts to come down on paper, we know can actually be a way of not only releasing what's in your mind, but also to see maybe what's consistently in there and bothering you. Because when you read back after a week or a month of journaling, you're going to see a pattern. And it may or may not be a good thing. So I know myself, I've been journaling, at least I try to remember every morning. And I do 2 things. Not only do I free journal, meaning I just sit down and don't have any intention around anything. I just sit down and start writing. And then I write a gratitude journal, and I write 3 things that I'm grateful for every day, and I do not repeat them. So every single day is 3 different things. And at first I started this practice and I went, I don't think I can do that. Like, how many times can I write 3 things and not repeat them? But you would be surprised. I know I am. And what it's helped me to do is to actually see the good and be eternally grateful for everything. So journaling, really profound practice. Tool number 1. Tool number 2 is a little bit of breathing. And this can look like anything. On our Facebook page, we taught a specific yogic breath work called Nodi Shodhana, or alternate nostril breathing. But it can look as simple as just sitting quiet and taking 3 to 5 nice full breaths. I hesitate to say deep breaths because then people will over breathe. And then that only makes you more anxious, right? So sitting quiet, closing your eyes, allowing your breath to move through you, and then directing the breath down in the belly. That's a really vital piece. And the reason it's vital is because it can help soften or tone what we call the vagus nerve complex. And that's a much bigger conversation. But just know that this particular nerve complex directly connects our organs and our brain. And so if it's not toned, if it's constricted and not optimally functioning, the message that our brain gets is that we're all constricted and things aren't right. And we start to go into fight or flight. Okay, so Diaphragmatic breathing, meaning that your belly is relaxed, you're sitting in a chair and you're breathing in your belly, is very profound. And then the third tool that you can put on top of that is meditation. And I know, oh, I can't meditate. My mind is too crazy. I'll never be able to meditate. You know, all the things that we tell ourselves and tell each other. And so the first thing I want you to know about our brain is our mind and our brain are different. And we have actually two aspects of our mind. The busy ego mind, which is the part of the mind that actually allows us to live in the world. It tells us to get up, it tells us to have coffee, it tells us to go for a walk, it tells us to go to the bathroom. You know, all the things that we need to do. But it can be a little bit of a bossy pants, and it wants to do all the things all the time and not allow you to have any peace and quiet. The second aspect of our mind is actually this quieter, softer, deeper, intuitive nature or wisdom. And it's talking with you, but it's quieter. It's like a little whisper. And the bossy pants ego mind really wants to have all the time, all the attention. And so what meditation does is it actually helps to soften this activity in the ego mind. It doesn't ever stop it. It won't stop it. It can't. But it will soften it so that you're not so reactive to everything around you. You're more responsive. And a simple meditation, honestly, is just to sit quiet, close your eyes, and watch your breathing. Flow in through the nostrils and out through the nostrils. Flow in through the nostrils and out through the nostrils. You get distracted, you come back to watching the breathing. You get distracted again, come back to watching the breathing. So one of the tips that we mentioned about this is just set a timer. So if you're going to do a breathing awareness and you turn that into a meditation, terrific, 2 things at once. And maybe you do 3 minutes. 3 minutes feels okay, do 5. If 5 minutes feels okay, do 7. Start to increase the time so that you got a comfortable time that you're sitting. The longer you do it, obviously, the better the effect. But, you got to start where you are. And some days I am much more able to sit for longer periods of time than others. It's just being a human. So we allow ourselves to have that variability. We don't be rigid around it. So I felt inspired actually to share this with you today because there are 3 profound tools that you can put in your self-care toolbox. And they're free and everybody can do them. And if you did them daily, I think you would find a real shift in your mental harmony. Now, just a little plug for one of my courses coming up. We have a mental harmony course or program that Chris and I developed. It's 4 weeks long. It starts next Wednesday. We're going to meet on Zoom in the evenings, 5 o'clock Mountain Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. And we're going to go real deep into this idea of what is mental harmony, what is mental disharmony, what are our obstacles, how can we create clarity, all the things. And the reason we developed this program, honestly, is because we've been seeing a lot of disharmony in the world. There's a lot of it out there. And, COVID isn't going away. It's going to be a long while yet this year before we can actually feel like we can kind of be back to somewhat of an active, normal lifestyle. So if you feel like you could really use the support in this idea of mental harmony, come and join our course. Registration's open now, and it's on my website, sue/schmitt.squarespace.com. I know it's a long one. And register. We're only taking a few people. We're keeping it small on purpose. And so if you really want to get in on this first class, this first program that we're offering for 2021, please join us. we're excited about it. And one last thing I want to mention about mental harmony, because some people have a harder time. It's a, when we're talking about our mind and our thoughts and our behaviors, it's a harder thing to grab onto than if we're talking about the physical body. And some of you might know that we do detoxes and cleanses throughout the year, and it addresses the physical body. We know that certain behaviors that we do either make us feel better in our physical body or don't. And so we could call that physical harmony or physical disharmony. Disharmony will lead to dis-ease, and dis-ease will lead to disease. So it's a path that we don't want to keep moving it towards. So our mind is the same. We can have mental harmony where we feel pretty calm, cool, and collected most of the time. Or we can have mental disharmony where we're really starting to notice that anxiety is present or depression is present or feeling scattered and unfocused is present. That can actually lead into dis-ease and disease. Don't move down that path. And so thinking about it in that way, we could bring mental harmony and physical harmony together. Because what goes on in our mind directly affects our body. In fact, Ayurveda and yogis believe that all dis-ease begins in the mind. Everything that's going on here starts up here. Okay, I'll leave you with that profoundness. And until next time, I want you to have a beautiful day. Maybe go outside in nature. Even if it's a little cold, put on your clothes. And I'll look forward to talking with you next week. Bye, everyone.